Okay. So we continue with sociology. Today we're going to talk about gender. So we're talking about gender. Gender simply means what it means to be a male or female in the society or the culture. That is what gender is. Gender means what it simply means to be a man or a woman in the society or in the culture. I think that is clear. Yes. Then we'll go to the effects of gender on life chances. All societies are to some extent patriarchal, that is, men have a higher status than women and some degree of power over women. So it is considered that the society we are in is patriarchal. That means it's a society for men. So men have power, men have authority over women. That is what the society is talking about. So then, what are the stands that make us to believe that the society is patriarchal? Well, that means we have to talk about the reasons why women life chances differ from those of men around the society or around the world. So we start. One, they said women have triple burden of work. That means when we talk about triple burden of work, that means they work for income, they do domestic work, and they also do the emotional work. That means they take care of the kids. They work to get to earn salary or pay wages. They work at home, the kitchen and the rest, and at the end again, they also take care of the kids. So that's triple burden. Work for income, domestic labor, and emotional work. I think it's clear. That's the first reason why it becomes difficult for women to meet up with men. That's the first one. The second one, in most countries, women earn far less than men, even for the same work. So in most countries, they do the same job, but men will still earn more than women. So this reduces their chances, life chances. The third one, women's health differs. And when we talk about women's health differ, here we're talking about pregnancy and childbirth. Because at that point in time, with childbirth and pregnancy, if there's lack of quality health care center, women's life might be in jeopardy. So they lose their life. They don't always be the same again after childbirth and pregnancy. So they are not always going to be so active as they used to be. So that also reduces their life chances. The next one, women experience violence and domestic violence. Yeah, women experience domestic violence. As a result of that, it also reduces their life chances. The next one, girls are less likely to go to school than boys in many developing countries. So in most of developing countries, girls are not allowed to go to school, probably because there's no the income for the family. The family income is not that much, so they prefer the boys to go than girls. And also another one is about girls likely to get married at a younger age than boys. So these are the reasons why women still have a low chance in the society. Yes. The next one, women are likely to be in poverty than men because they don't make much income like men. So they are closer to poverty than men. And the last one, women live longer and on average 5 years younger than men in most societies. So that means the level of income available for women might not be enough for them because they have a long life. Is it clear? Is it clear, please? Yes. So that takes us to changing role of women in modern industrial society. So what has changed from the traditional role of women, which is just the domestic role? Now, what are the role in the modern day society? Here I wrote, women now play a greater part in the workforce. As a result, their roles have changed over time. The traditional female gender role of housewife and mother hasn't disappeared, but it is now more likely to be combined with paid work. So what they are trying to say is that the woman, the motherhood and the traditional housewife role is still there. But these days, women can do it with a paid job. So it's not like in the traditional society where women are just there for the domestic role. Do you get it? Yes. So, but still, their chances is still minimal because women are less likely to be promoted due to their time off during childbirth and flexibility of their work. Women are likely to be part-time workers. So because they have to give birth, there's a stage for pregnancy. So all these things, when you put them together, they abandon paid work. So that means they might not be able to get promotion when it's due, even if they have the same level with the man, because they are pregnant, they need to take care of the child, there's childbirth. These things takes away quality time of work.
Yeah.
So that means they are likely not to be promoted. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So this is all about women, gender, women, and how the society is seen as patriarchal. Clear?
Yeah.
So the next one we need to talk about is feminism and gender inequality. So we go to feminism and gender inequality. What is feminism itself? Feminism is a political movement and sociological perspective advocating equality of gender. So it's a political movement or sociological perspective that is advocating for equality of the gender. That is feminism. I think the point is clear there.
Yes.
So we have different types of feminism. We have liberal feminists. For liberal feminists, they are most concerned to getting equal rights with men and women through legislation. So for the liberal feminists, they want equal rights for men and women, but they want it through the law. The law should pass constitutions that will give men and women equal rights. That is for liberal feminists. I think liberal feminists is clear. Is it clear, please?
Yeah.
Then we have the radical feminists. For the radical feminists, they argue that the society is too patriarchal, that radical changes need if equality is to be achieved. They advocate that women should live separately from men. So for the radical feminists, they believe the society is too patriarchal. As a result, radical changes have to come up. That means protest or whatever it is. But it is not going to be through law. Law takes time. So they want radical change as soon as now. Or else women should be separated from men. That's according to radical feminists. And we have the Marxist and the socialist feminists. For the Marxist and socialist feminists, they combine Marxism and feminism. They combine Marxism and feminism views together. So, see, they said, according to them, they said the exploitation of women they see the exploitation of women as an aspect of class structure of capitalism. So they believe women are exploited as a result of the capital structure of capitalism. The capitalists are the ones in their structure. They made it happen. They made it inevitable for men for women to go over men. Okay. So that means they structured the society in a way that women will always be below men because of class. You get it? So what they do is employers use women as reserve army of labor. Male workers try to exclude women from skilled work, and husbands benefit from their wives' unpaid job. So capitalists, what do? They talk to the men that, oh, let your woman come work with us, but we won't give her the power. You get the pay. So she's working on your aspect. He's working for you. She's working for you. So whatever we have to pay her, we will pay you because she is secondary. She's a secondary breadwinner, and you are the primary breadwinner. So that is how capitalists socialized working class people. As a result, working class men also neglect their women, or they make them work when there's economic boom. So as soon as there's no economic boom, as soon as things fall, they send them back to the kitchen. So that means they are structured. Women are structured in a way that they won't have economic power over men. I think it's clear. Then we have the Black feminism. For the Black feminists, these groups are formed by some African American and African Caribbean women. They see racism and ethnicity as part of the explanation of the situation of ethnic minority women. So they see inequality in women due to racism and ethnicity. That is for the Black feminists. Is it clear? So that's about feminism and gender inequality. So the next one we need to talk about is gender discrimination in employment. We go to gender discrimination in employment, in job, at workplace. In pre-industrial societies, the family was the unit of production. When we talk about pre-industrial society, where the family were the unit of production, it means the father, the mother, and the children all are part of production method. That means whatever is being produced in that society, the father, the mother, and the child or the children are involved. Okay. So during the Industrial Revolution, the factory replaced the family as the unit of production. At first, men, women, and children worked in factories. In the early 19th century, laws were made to restrict children from working. So the care and supervision of children then became the responsibility of the mother, who sometimes might not be able to work. So at the beginning of the 19th century, they stopped using child labor. They stopped using women or children to work.
Yes.
So it remains the man and the woman working. And most of the time, the woman has to take care of the children. So that means sometimes women will not be at work. Do you get the point there? So according to Oakley, the effect of industrialization were, so according to Oakley, this industrial revolution makes these things happen. One, men were separated from the daily routine. So that means men start forgetting about domestic things. It's not their business. Their business becomes primary breadwinner. So they take them away from helping the woman due to industrial revolution.
Mhm.
Two, women and children become economical dependence on men because now the children are not working anymore. So they have to depend on their father.
Mhm.
Women who are working sometimes are not able to work because of the domestic role or emotional role at home. So they are also economically dependent on the father. That's the second point. And the third one, housework and childcare became isolated from other work. So it's now separated. Housework is separated from other work. So it's the role of the woman. So they separated it. That is gender discrimination in employment there. I think you get the point. So towards the end of that was at the end of 19th century. So towards the end of the 20th century, the number of women working grew significantly. Some of the reasons for this are: one, feminist ideology. That means the dissatisfaction with housewife role. Women wanted to work. So one of the reasons why in the 20th century, the number of women in employment increases is that: one, feminist ideology. Women want to work. They don't want to stay at home. The first one. The second one, women who had worked during the war valued work and they want to continue. During the World War II, some women work during World War II. So they loved working. As a result, after the World War, they want to continue working. As a result of that, women employment increases. You get the second point.
Yeah.
The third point, there were changes in the socialization of girls. So girls saw their future in terms of work instead of being a housewife. So the integration in the society changed. Girls' ideologies changed. They don't see their future in being a housewife. Rather, they see it as an employee. That means they have to study, they have to go to school. I think it's clear. The second to the last, laws preventing gender discrimination led to changes. So now, at the early stage of 20th century, laws that is against gender discrimination were upheld. So it means you have to follow the law.
Yeah.
You get it? So those that do not follow the law are punished. And the last one, they were changing attitudes in workplace. Employers began to value their female staff more. So employers now start thinking that, oh, the women are also valuable at workplace. Is it clear? So these are reasons why feminism, these are reasons why women's role start improving in the 20th century. And the last one is about the role model. There are now different role models that girls can look up to. Oh, the president of this country is a woman. Oh, Oprah Winfrey is a woman. So they'll start looking up to these kind of women as their role model. As a result of that, employment increases. So that's all about gender discrimination in employment. So the next one is going to be about segregation at workforce. So we stop here. So we'll go to segregation in workforce. When we talk about segregation in workforce, it is caused as a result of gendered division of labor. So when we talk about gender, listen, I said there's segregation in the workforce. Segregation in the workforce is caused as a result of gendered division of labor. And when we talk about gendered division of labor, it's the way the society expects women to, to be responsible for certain tasks. So these are the tasks meant for women. So it is expected of them to carry on with this task.
Yes.
So as a result of that, they are segregated. So that brings us to segregation. So for segregation, we have vertical segregation and horizontal segregation. Why do we call it vertical segregation? We call it vertical segregation because it means that whatever level a woman is with a man, when even the man and the woman have the same job or the same occupation, the woman will be stationed in a way that she will be in a lower hierarchy. The level of hierarchy will be low. What I'm saying is that for vertical segregation, it means even when the man and the woman are in the same occupation, are in the same job, the woman will be stationed in a way that she will always be in a low level hierarchy. That is what we call vertical segregation. Is it clear?
Yes.
Then we go to horizontal. For horizontal segregation, this means women tend to have different occupations from men. So, oh, these are tasks of women. These are tasks for men. So they don't have the same task. So that's what we call horizontal segregation. Is it clear?
Yes.
And I explained what gender division of labor is, right?
Yeah.
Where the society is expecting a woman to be responsible for certain tasks. So this segregation in workplace, this gender division of labor leads to what we call glass ceiling. And for glass ceiling means unseen circumstances or unseen barriers that makes women not to reach or not to achieve highest position at workplace. We call it glass ceiling. Those unseen circumstances, unseen barriers that would not allow women to reach or to achieve the highest position at workplace. We call it glass ceiling. Do you get what glass ceiling is?
Yes.
All right. So for glass ceiling, we have some glass ceiling. Now you said some glass ceilings are one. Women who apply for promotion are not seen as serious candidates. So you might apply for promotion as a woman, but the men will not see you as someone that will give them tough time. They will get the promotion before you. That's glass ceiling. Yeah. Two, women have not taken this position before. So employers seen appointing women as a risk. So because women have not taken such position before, employers don't want to give it to them because they consider it as a risk.
Yes.
That's the second point. The third one, the appointments are made by men who have gender attitude. So the men are those that are going to appoint the women to the top, right? Yes. But they have gender attitude. Yeah. As a result, they will not allow women to get there.
Yes.
The fourth one, the small group of men at the top of a company or organization may not want to work with someone who they see as different to them. So men at the top don't want to work with someone that they feel like, no, it's not the same as us. That's the woman. Do you get the point there?
Yeah.
The fifth one, a woman may be seen as a threat. So she may do the job better than the man. So they don't want to try to give the woman the chance.
Okay.
The woman will take the job away from the man.
Yes.
And the last one, men may believe that there will be role conflicts. So they believe that giving them a position at the top might bring about role conflict. Role conflict as a result of wanting to be the mother, wanting to be the boss at work. So she might not be able to cope doing both at the same time. So these are the reasons why we have glass ceiling.
Yes.
Do you understand glass ceiling now? Like I said, glass ceiling means those unseen barriers that seems to prevent women from achieving a top position at work. Is it clear?
Yes.
So the next lesson is going to be consequences of gender inequality at workplace. So we go to consequences of gender inequality at work. There's gender inequality because there's segregation, vertical, there's horizontal, vertical, and there's glass ceiling. The women are trying to break the glass, but if they try to break the glass, they go up and still come down. So the society is patriarchal as a result. So what are the consequences of having gender inequality at workplace? The first one, there are marked gender differences in earnings. Men carry their advantage into old age. Women are likely to have lower occupation pensions. So the consequence of having gender inequality is that because the men earn more than the women, so during the pension time, the men will still have so much than women. So women are likely to have low income during retirement.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
But for men, they will carry the high income to their retirement, while the women will carry the low income to their retirement. That's the pension. Clear. The second one, women are more vulnerable to poverty as they earn lower wages than men. So another consequence on gender inequality is that it makes women to be vulnerable to poverty because they earn low. As a result, it is not expected to increase over the future. So they are likely to be closer to poverty than men. The third one, which is the last one, the gap between women who earn more and those who earn less has become wider than the equivalent gap for men. So the gap between women who earn more and women who earn less is wider than the gap between men who earn more and men who earn less. So the gap between men who earn more and less is closing, while the gap between women who earn more and less is increasing, because it is minute minority of women that earn higher pay. And those that are not earning more, those that are earning less, there's no likelihood that they can reach the top. So the gap continues to become wider. I think the point is clear there.
Yes.
So we go to explanations of gender inequalities at work. So different sociologists gave reasons why there's gender inequality at work. Now we start. The first one, women have discontinued career due to childbirth. So one of the reasons why there's gender inequality at work is that women have discontinued careers during childbirth. They have to stop working at that point in time. So their chances of being promoted become slim. That's the first reason. Two, they are usually the secondary breadwinner. So women are considered as secondary breadwinner. So they are not the primary. So it is considered that whatever they pay to them, whatever they get, it's enough because they are not the one in charge of the family.
Yes.
That's the second point. The third one, they are less geographical mobile than men. So it means that for men, the whole family can leave Tripoli to Benghazi because the man has a job there, a new job, or he will be promoted there. But the family would not leave because of the woman.
Yeah.
So men are geographically mobile than women. So that also reduces their chances. The fourth one, the existence of large reserve of employable women keeps wages down. There are a lot of women who need job. So the wage rate for women are always low. Do you get the point here?
Yeah.
And the last one, cultural factors, such as the widespread ideas that men shouldn't be subordinate to women. So women shouldn't be the boss. It's a cultural ideology. So this also brings about discrimination at workplace.
Yes.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
So what are the disadvantages of women at workplace? The first one, according to functionalists. For functionalists, they argue that women lack of commitment to paid work is a cause for their disadvantage. Women are likely to abandon work or their careers because they want to give birth, because they want to take care of the child. So they are likely to leave the job.
Yeah.
So according to functionalists, this is why they are unable to reach the top.
Yeah.
Do you get the point here? For Marxists and Marxist feminists, there is this, for them, they say there is this skilling in women jobs. Women were not considered as having specific skills to put them ahead. So for Marxists, they believe women are not given they are not allowed to have specific skills. Rather, whatever the skills women have, they see it as normal skill. So women do not have specific skill. And it is only when you have specific skill that you can move ahead in position.
Yeah.
Like, oh, before now, it is always like the women who usually type. But now they see it as anybody can type. Do you get it? So it is the skill of the women that is in place at that time. But now they have been de-skilled by saying that anybody could type. So they are taking away the skills that are concentrated or that are known to be for women. They are taking it away. As a result, it becomes difficult for women to be specialists.
Yes.
Do you get it? According to Marx.
Yeah.
Any question about that? So that ends it. Then we go to men. We go to men. Most sociology in the past was about men. According to Sylvia Warby, women are seen as a deviant minority, while men are gender neutral. So this implies that unless specified otherwise, whatever discussion is about, it is considered as it's a discussion for men.
Yeah.
So it is only if it becomes, they mention it. If it is not specified, whatever the discussion is about in the society, the discussion is all about men. That means the society belongs to the men. That's according to Sylvia Warby.
Yeah.
So, but for Barbara, according to Barbara Ehrenreich, men began rejecting conventional masculine gender roles even before women began to reject feminine roles in the 1970s. So women stopped rejecting feminine roles in the 1970s. So some men reject the role of breadwinner as it leads to an early heart attack and looked for a more fulfilling life. So men, they start rejecting that breadwinner role because they feel it's a lot of burden on them.
Okay.
And it makes them to die younger.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stress on them and they could have a heart attack. That's what they are saying there.
Yes.
So why do reasons traditional male roles have become more difficult in recent years? So that traditional male role, that masculinity, that traditional masculinity has become difficult recently. So what has been the reason? One, decline in manufacturing industry, which means there are fewer jobs for working class men. Male unemployment has risen while women unemployment has risen. Women unemployment has risen.
Yeah.
Women employment has risen. So what they're saying is one of the reasons why it becomes difficult to continue with that traditional man role is that men do not have jobs as they used to have, especially the working class. A lot of businesses are now service. It is not manufacturing anymore. So industrialization is reducing, is declining. As a result of that, there are no much manufacturing companies anymore, unlike before. Manufacturing is physicality.
Yeah.
So this is what men are used to do. But these jobs, these businesses are closing because of tertiary sector.
Yeah.
So people do more of services than conversion of raw materials. So the role of men starts changing. Did you get the first point there?
Yeah.
Two, the violence and gender abuse of women and children by men has become visible and is widely condemned. So these days, it is known, it is seen that there's always violence caused by men.
Okay.
As a result, men are being condemned for doing such.
Yeah.
The third one, the value of men's roles within family is increasingly being questioned as many women bring up children successfully. So these days, women can also successfully raise a child. So it's not like it is without the man, the child cannot be successful or cannot be successfully raised by women. So that traditional role of men are the one that can raise the child is declining. Do you get the point there?
Yes.
And the last one, feminism. Feminism has brought masculinity into question, exposing men as self-interested abusers of power rather than heroic conquerors of nature. For feminists, they don't see men as heroes. They don't see men as the ones that make the life becomes bearable for us. They see them as self-interested. That means it's only what they like that they like. Do you get the point here?
Yes.
So what are the reactions towards these analyses or ideologies? One, according to Rutherford, there are two reactions for this. One, we have the retributive men. Why do we call them retributive men? We call them retributive men because they are trying to return to the traditional masculinity.
Yeah.
So they are retributive. They want to come back to becoming that man that is known traditionally.
Yes.
And for the new men, who are the new men? These are men of today that acknowledge their emotion sharing. They do domestic work with their wives, and they take greater role in fatherhood. So men start, the new men are those men that do domestic work with their wives. They do greater part in fatherhood. They take care of the child more in upbringing. And also they are involved in acknowledging that they have emotions too. They have feelings. They acknowledge it publicly.
Okay.
So that's what we're talking about men. Any question about men? Okay. So that ends that note. They will be going to social class. It is not what you are expecting.